All right, it was a quiet day at Cowboys training camp yesterday here in Oxnard, California. Today was quite the opposite, Mary. It was very loud, very busy from the opening presser to the team's first practice.
Finally, that's all I can say. Finally, we got to see some reps. We got to see this new 2024 Cowboys team on the field. There was so much anticipation and, of course, things getting kind of pushed back with the state of the Cowboys presser not being yesterday now, or not being Tuesday, being today. Finally, that's all I could say.
So let's go kind of in order of how things went today. Actually, not kind of. We are going to go in order of how things went today. So it started off with the state of the presser, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and head coach Mike McCarthy. And one thing that really stuck out to me, Mary, is Jerry said he doesn't think this is Dak's last year with the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, this is Dak's final season of his current contract. What did you make of that?
Well, he did say that, but also a lot of the discourse and the answers that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones were answering was talking about how complicated it is going to be to find deals for 3 superstars on one team. Again, referencing how the Minnesota Vikings don't have that problem. They only have 1 star to pay. So it kind of felt a little bit contradictory. We want Dak, we think he's going to be here, but also there's a lot to figure out and it's extremely complicated. I did like hearing Jones say that money is never going to be the issue. It's more about what the NFL will allow him to do. So if it weren't for those regulations on cap, I think all 3 of them would be here next season and in the future. But as it stands now, I still feel really unsure despite that comment.
Absolutely. So another thing that was brought up today, of course, Cowboys fans know about the team's lack of postseason success since their last Super Bowl championship. And both the Joneses said, well, that's a good thing. That means they know the fans care. The fans should be frustrated. As a fan of sports, Mary, do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating, especially when you hear the iconic, I guess you could say, "We are all in." You hear it over and over again. Well, what does that even mean at this point without the proof of, or without it translating to postseason success? And last year was such a horrible way to end the season. We're not talking about 1 win in the postseason. We're talking about a first round exit. So there's going to be a lot to prove this year, but it's not just the fans that feel that way. With the contract years, McCarthy coaching on an expiring contract, those are all things that make this season very high stakes. So they feel what you're feeling if you're a fan.
And Jerry's word of the day, ambiguity. How many times do you think he said it?
Okay, if I had to bet, like 16 probably.
Right,
and that might be modest.
Yeah, we're going to have to do an over-under, and you know what? Next time we talk to Jerry, we should give him a spelling bee on it. Jerry, you said it that many times. Spell ambiguity for us. All right, so after that, the team hit the practice field for 90 minutes. Mary, you were out here with photojournalist Adam Higgins shooting the entire practice while I was in, basically writing scripts for the shows. What was your take out here the first day of practice?
Well, it's our first time seeing the offense that now has a 1 full year under their belts. This time last year it was McCarthy taking over the offense for the first time. This is a ramp-up period. We don't really get to see a whole lot. It's similar to what an OTA practice would look like. At least that's how Mike McCarthy said that's how they were going to run things today. So we did get to see some 7-on-7 drills, and right behind us there was one connection from Dak to Brandon Cooks. Threaded the needle in the end zone, and that was one of the more exciting, memorable moments of practice. There were a couple interceptions, and you know, if you pay attention to training camps, when the defense comes up with a big play, you know we have a huge reaction. So I'm excited to see the coming days. Today definitely felt like, all right, let's slowly kick things into gear.
And then things started to slow down a little after practice. Dak Prescott came out, he talked to the media. He was joking with some of us beforehand because we were eating some little tri-tip sandwiches that they were feeding us. And of course, as we started eating, Dak showed up. So we all kind of had a little chuckle about that. But Dak, when he was talking with the media, he started to say something and then he hesitated and he's like, I'm just going to say it. He says he wants to be here with the Dallas Cowboys for years to come. But Mary, he also said he understands that may not be his reality because he understands the business.
Yeah, and that's kind of obvious, right? In the real world that exists, if you think about it from a realistic standpoint, that's always a possibility. He's not currently signed beyond this year. So of course there's a possibility he's not going to be with the team. But the fact that he acknowledged that reality, I think, is nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of people are going to read in between the lines. What does he mean by that? I think it pretty much means what you just heard.
Yeah.
He was also asked, I quickly want to say,
Sure, go ahead.
that stood out to me. Historically, with the Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks like Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, they've played their entire careers with the Cowboys franchise. In response to that, he said that's not something he thinks about at all. So continuing on that theme isn't important for Dak Prescott.
And we did learn one thing today, very important, Mary. Dak is still going to say, "Here we go."
Here we go.
That's going to happen again this season. Mary, awesome job as usual. All right, we've got you covered on air, and we've also got you covered online at KSAT.com. Cowboys training camp from Oxnard, California.